Listen to my podcast about sports.
Howdy, Ags. Welcome to the tailgate. Delivery man.
I guess.
The coach. How's it going, fellas? Ready to talk some Aggie football? Today's episode brought to you by Frida Homes, building Aggie's dreams. Custom home builders with over 15 years of experience in the Brazos Valley. If you're looking for someone that cares about you and the details that you care about, contact Frida Homes. Visit them on Instagram at frida.homes or give Justin a call at 979-450-4466. When you call, just remember, everyone loves their Frida Homes. All right, guys. Email us at agstailgate@gmail.com if you got questions, comments, you want to know something about the Aggie football team. We can talk about it the next show. You can also find us on YouTube. Comment on YouTube. Subscribe. Corey,
yeah,
how's everything been going, man?
Pretty good. Lots happened since our last show.
Yeah.
Sweet 16 went down to the Final Four.
Yeah. Is it the craziest Final Four you've ever been a part of?
Well, I mean, it's pretty crazy having Florida Atlantic and San Diego State in there. Is a little bit, and one of those two teams will be in the championship game. They're playing each other.
Not a single 1, 2, or 3 seed in the Final Four.
No.
First time that's ever happened.
Is it really? I didn't know that.
First time that's ever happened.
That's crazy.
For this tournament, it's the first time a 1 seed doesn't make the Elite 8.
Yeah. How'd your bracket end up?
Really bad. Yeah, really bad.
I got two teams in the Final Four.
I do have one ESPN bracket that is in the 88th percentile. So that's pretty good.
Like the top 88th or the bottom 88th?
No, the top.
Okay. Just making sure.
Yeah, so pretty good. And
did you pick the same teams that you picked in our bracket?
No.
I was about to say.
No. So
and you also had Florida Atlantic going a long way then.
And I had UConn winning, so there's a chance.
All right, so I had UConn and Miami both in the Final Four.
You know, I looked at the ESPN stuff, and they give you some stats and who's the leading brackets. There is actually somebody that picked 3 of those 4 Final Four teams.
There's no way they picked Florida Atlantic.
Yes.
They did?
Yes.
Get out of here. Wow.
Isn't that crazy?
That's pretty crazy.
The team they missed on was Miami.
Really?
Yeah.
They had San Diego State?
They had San Diego State and Florida Atlantic.
Who'd they have instead of Miami? Texas?
I don't recall, but I think so. Maybe so.
Maybe Houston. I don't know.
Was Kansas? No, Kansas wasn't in that same break. Houston. It wasn't Houston. I think it was. I think it was Texas. Yeah.
Wow,
so
it's pretty impressive.
Pretty impressive to have 3 of the. I mean, they basically only lost like a couple of games to the whole thing. I don't know how you pick that bracket in that way. I mean, maybe your family is from San Diego and all went to San Diego State, and you went to school at Florida Atlantic.
Yeah, UConn's just good.
Yeah,
just really good.
A lot of people picked UConn. UConn's the one team that's keeping people's brackets alive.
Yeah, for a 4 seed, they were way undervalued.
Yeah. Had some injury stuff in the middle of the season that sort of cost them a little bit, right?
Yeah, and we won some money. Hey, we've been winning bets.
Winning bets. That's
something new.
That's a new development for us, but it's been good.
That's right.
It's been good. It's been real good. I'll tell you this. Some people are all about the fact that, they're like done with the tournament because none of the Blue Bloods are surviving. This has been, for me, the best tournament ever.
I love it.
Upsets are the best thing. Watching Texas choke away a 13-point lead.
That was crazy. That was, guys at work were texting me, hook 'em, and they didn't say shit after the game was
sir.
Over. It was just,
And and then
that coach gets a brand new contract, which I think he deserves. Yeah, he deserves.
I will tell you this: that dude did a great job this year. He, especially taking over a team in midseason to do what he did. I thought he did a great job. Very well deserved.
And Beard's gone to Ole Miss.
They don't care what those coaches have done.
No.
Beat your wife, kill somebody.
Do whatever.
It doesn't matter.
Exactly.
You'll still get hired at Ole Miss.
Yeah,
not a problem.
It's not a bad thing.
This weekend, the Final Four, man. Okay, so you called the matchups there.
UConn and Miami.
UConn, Miami. Who you got?
Man, I think Miami matches up well with UConn. I think it's going to be a tough game. I think UConn's right now playing the best basketball of anybody, but I wouldn't be surprised if Miami. So I'll go with Miami.
What's
And of course, I've been downplaying Florida Atlantic the whole time, so I'm going to take San Diego State.
Yeah. Look, the more I've watched UConn, I mean, obviously, I think that those guys are really good. I like that shooter.
Yeah. Jordan, I know you're talking about. Can't think
10, number 10, right?
24.
Okay, or 24. And, but I like that shooter. I think that dude can really stroke it. I mean, but that team
got a lot of shooters, man.
That team is pretty loaded.
They got an ex-Aggie on that team.
Who?
DR.
Oh, there you go.
He comes off the bench. He actually got some playing time there the last game. He comes off the bench. He doesn't play a lot. Plays less there than what he did at A&M.
Yeah, we could have used him this year.
Yeah, exactly. Backup point guard.
Yeah, it'd have been nice to have him.
He had some big shots here last year.
Yeah, absolutely. At the end of the year, that dude was a big part of that team. Man. On the other side, I mean, you're taking San Diego State. Florida Atlantic's got something like 34 wins on the season.
Yeah.
To me, that and what they've done here lately, I mean, they beat Kansas State, right? That Kansas State, a good team, a team you really like.
Yeah.
And if you watch that game, those two teams, physically, they match up. It's not like they're sitting there playing a group that's a bunch of little shorties and one tall guy in the middle, or athletically and physically, they match up against the team.
The officiating killed Kansas State in that game. They got Keontae Johnson into foul trouble. The guy was out of the game.
You could say the same thing for
Gonzaga.
Well, no, that's not where I was going.
Exactly. Happened the same thing to Drew Timme. Once he got in foul trouble.
But you could say that there was officiating issues also for
San Diego State and
Creighton,
yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And so, both of those teams could have not been there, whatever. I mean, at the end of the day, they're there.
Yeah.
Who's going to win the game?
I think Creighton would have won that game against San Diego State.
Well, no, yeah, they would have. But who's going to win the game on Saturday?
Oh, which one?
San Diego State, FAU.
I like San Diego State. I'm taking San Diego State.
We're going to be betting on FAU today.
Yeah,
all right.
We will.
So you're saying San Diego State and Miami in the final?
Yeah, that's just a guess. I mean, it'll probably be UConn and FAU the way Hey, something?
So who's your champion?
Well, if I'm taking Miami. Whoever wins the UConn Miami game, I think will win the whole thing. Conference USA.
Mm-hmm.
In the basketball, they have two teams in the NIT final.
Okay.
Another team won the CBI.
Oh, there you go.
Florida Atlantic is in the Final Four. They haven't lost a preseason basketball game yet, supposedly.
Postseason,
I mean. Yeah.
So, and then you're discounting Florida Atlantic.
I'm discounting Conference USA.
Even though all they've done is beat everybody else.
Nobody cares about the NIT and CBI. Those teams didn't care. That's like
there was big conference teams in those tournaments also.
Yeah, Aggies weren't in there. They didn't care.
All right, so I'm gonna go Florida Atlantic. By the way, I just keep harping on the fact that all they do is win.
How's your bracket?
Not good.
There you go.
Very not good. You're gonna win our tournament challenge.
Already won. Yeah,
it's already done.
It's like every year.
It's not like every year, but
pretty much every year.
Baseball, man. A little bit of a struggle there so far. Look, 15-10 overall in the season, 1-5 in the conference, but they played some very, very tough competition in the conference.
That's why you're in the SEC. You play tough competition. That's why you're in
Tennessee. They lose 2 out of 3 to LSU.
Yeah,
swept by Tennessee, and then they lost to Texas last night, 5-2. I'll tell you this, just been watching it out, and a couple of things. Look, they need a better consistency out of their pitchers.
Yeah,
especially their starters, their weekend starters, and those guys need to be more consistent and give them more innings, better results. Yesterday, they gave up a few on the back end with the bullpen. The bullpen had been pretty decent at times, especially some of the key guys. But once again, when you have to get into the bullpen so early, it's so many guys that they have to use that they end up having problems because while the top end of the bullpen does a pretty good job, the rest of the bullpen has struggled some too.
Well, I hear you, but the thing I'm not seeing is the crooked numbers on the offensive side. Last year we saw a lot of crooked numbers. I'm talking like big innings. You talk about a 5, 6, 7, 8 run inning.
And yesterday they lost 5-2. They had several opportunities with guys in scoring position where they couldn't bring them home, right? And so that's another part. The runners in scoring position, they haven't really come through with the bats. A few of the different guys. We did get Minnick back yesterday. Awesome news. I got a text about midday saying, "Hey, surprise for today's game. Your boy's playing."
Good.
And so I was excited to see him on the field. He got on base, I think, twice via error.
Oh, there you go.
0 for 3, but on base twice via error.
It's Longhorn baseball.
And those guys, I mean, he's going to help, right? He's going to help.
Oh yeah.
So they just need to.
A potential MLB player is going to help. You think?
Yeah. They just need to keep pounding away.
Good call. That's a hot take right there.
I know.
You know who got the first pitch yesterday? Buzz.
There you go.
President.
Love me some Buzz.
He didn't text you and tell you he's throwing the first pitch up?
Well, I was going to meet him for breakfast, but I got busy with my day job. Look, and the turnaround should start this weekend. Needs to start this weekend. Ole Miss is a team that was ranked number 3 in the country at one point. They're 0-6 in the SEC, so worse off than the Aggies.
Yeah.
Now they've also played some tough competition, and that's life in the SEC, as we said. Vandy and Florida.
Yeah.
But this is a series that you need to start getting right?
Right.
It's here starting pretty soon.
Yeah.
You got to start getting some wins in there to build that resume.
Well, the LSU team is a juggernaut. They're really good. Tennessee, I didn't watch a minute of them play. But
they got swept the weekend before. That's Tennessee.
So you know. Ole Miss.
Tennessee
got swept the weekend before they played us. By who?
Florida? It might have been. I can't remember.
That's fine. But Jesus. That's SEC, though.
But that's SEC.
But we can't get swept. We got to win at least one game.
Yeah.
And
that's
we're good. And we got too much
start.
talent. We have too much talent.
Yeah.
Same thing we say in football. We have too much talent to get beat all the time.
And look, I am not trying to slam slosh or anything like that. The dude obviously
slam away.
The dude obviously took us to the World Series last year. It is a tough conference to play in baseball.
Yeah.
Here's the other thing. Once again, a number of guys, new faces and things like that, so readjusting and all that stuff. But overall, you said there's one guy that from the guys coming back that needs to start producing also.
Targash.
Yeah,
he hasn't done much, and Slosh mentioned it on the radio today talking about it and said, yeah, we haven't got much out of him, and he doesn't have anybody else to put in his place because nobody else is producing right now. It's just what it is. I mean,
and
that's baseball. It's a middle game.
Last year they had their catcher was huge for them.
Yeah.
At bat as well,
and
he's struggling. They're struggling there with the bats also. So
they'll wake up.
But I think
back. I think they're getting healthy, and it'll show.
Yeah, him and Warner both back, and that should help. Warner didn't look good yesterday at all, but once again, those guys are going to start hitting the rhythm.
Moss is still making good contact. I mean, you got some. You just need a couple steady guys to carry you for a little bit until everybody gets hot.
That's been phenomenal. So.
Yeah, they'll be fun.
Pro days on campus yesterday with the football program.
Mm-hmm.
So a bunch of NFL folks on campus.
Yeah.
All 32 teams represented to watch A-Chain, Antonio Johnson, and Jones.
Yeah.
There was a few other guys. Connor Blumrick was back on campus.
What's he doing?
Buckley also participated in pro days. Yeah, remember the former quarterback that ended up Virginia Tech?
Yeah.
And then Buckley, the wide receiver, was also here for the pro days. But let's focus on the Aggies here. The only one that ran the 40 was Jones. He wasn't real pleased with his 40 time at the combine, so he came back ran 4.4.
Right.
So an improvement there. I think with his size at 6'2", and running a 4.4, I think that helps him. He's now going to be drafted probably, I don't know, 3rd, 4th round, I'd say.
I can't believe he's going to go that high. I just don't believe he's going to go that high. That's just me.
There's a chance that he doesn't.
Think about a guy that we were talking about maybe even coming back this year, right? Didn't he have a chance to come back?
Oh, yeah,
we thought he might have come back.
He's only junior.
And I don't see anything that he did on the field that warranted a 3rd, 4th, or 5th round pick. They're just going off talent alone. Is all they're basing it on.
the thing that he's going to get some praise for and going to get some looks for. One is his size. 2, the physicality. Right, he did play very physically. He's good up against the run. All those things are true. The problem is that he's not great in coverage as a cornerback, right?
And that's something you need to be good at?
He's not great in coverage as a quarterback.
He's good at getting beat deep for some reason. I don't know why. Does he trip? Not have a second gear? I don't understand it.
But they also asked him if he'd be willing to move to safety, and he said yes. And what did I say before last year?
Yeah.
I thought his best position would be safety.
But, okay, if you put him at safety last year, what are you doing with Richardson and Johnson? Or Gilbert? Is he better than any of those three guys?
Well, clearly, Antonio Johnson is the best of them all.
Right.
I'd have let Richardson play linebacker, and
we're still talking about that today.
And that'd have been my solution right there, right? Yeah. Easy peasy.
Yeah.
Now, but at the end of the day, if he's the better deep safety, if he's the better guy out there, then that's the best position for him. That's where I would have wanted to put him.
Yeah.
Right. Let him go showcase that skill set. Right. But that's not what happened. He played corner.
Yeah.
And he was good, not great in coverage. Right?
Yeah.
Big thing for a cornerback. He's got to do better. But
that's the thing. I mean, we didn't get beat teams passing the ball. They just ran the ball. They didn't have to pass the ball.
But, you've got a lot of – yeah, that's also true. Yeah. You've got a lot of teams in the NFL, though, that like those big physical corners that can come up and hit.
But is he physical?
Yeah, and he is physical.
I don't know.
He
I
is
didn't
physical.
see the physical part.
He's physical against the run.
I think Chappelle's more physical.
Chappelle, I think, is the best of
I think Anderson's more physical. I think there's a lot of guys in the secondary.
There may be other ones. Yeah. But the point is that I think he is. And if he goes to one of those teams in the NFL, that's the kind of guy, they're not looking, they let their safeties help over the top, play a lot of cover one and stuff like that where you're getting help and things like that. A program, defense, kind of like what San Francisco played, which means what maybe the Texans are going to be playing, what, Seattle used to play back in the day and still do some of the same stuff. Those types of defense like those big corners that can do what he does. And so somebody's going to like him.
Right, I got you. Okay.
Antonio looked good. Antonio looked good in his drills, and they asked him to do a bunch of different stuff. They like his ability to sort of be flexible, go deep, cover underneath, play the run, all those types of things. I don't, me. I think he was our best defender by far last year. I think he's a first round talent.
I think he is too.
Safety is slightly undervalued in the NFL for some reason.
Yeah, man.
Because in reality, you look at all the great defenses, they always have great safeties.
Right.
To me, I would put more value on that position for a guy that can make plays all over the field, right?
Yeah.
But I think the key for him now is really going to be, where does he end up? End up with a team that's going to utilize him in the right way, give him some opportunities to really show out.
Yeah.
But he had a good day. And then A-Chain. And, he didn't run the 40 because he already had the fastest 40 for a running back.
Right.
But he came in and they wanted to see him catch the ball a little bit more.
I can understand that.
They stuck him out at wide receiver and threw him some passes. Man, he ran some routes, looked good. Made some nice catches.
Good.
And I think showed that he's got that in his repertoire as well. I mean, he caught some really nice catches here at A&M out of the backfield, right?
You think that's how he's going to make his living in the NFL as a third down back? Because I can't see him as every day.
To me, he could play on every down because he's a good inside runner.
Yeah.
While he's not,
does he have the body to take all those hits?
His lower body is pretty thick, right? So he's got. It's not like he's slight. He's not slight, right? Especially not in the lower body. So
gotcha.
To me, but you're right. I mean, now the question will become, can he take the punishment of being an every down back?
Right.
That's a better question. So he probably ends up splitting carries with somebody to start off with, but he's capable at everything you need to do as a running back. Maybe he can be a guy that also gets split out as a slot and used in different ways, especially after some of the skills that he showcased yesterday. The other thing that I did see yesterday also in that pro day was all three of those guys just excellent character, man. Like, as the folks are talking, oh, you want me to do that? Yeah, I'll do that too. You want me to show you that? I'll show you that too. Right? Like, and then the interviews afterwards, you know what they all said? They're like, hey, look, I'm just happy to be here. I'm happy to be able to have this opportunity.
Right.
We've been working hard at this. Wherever we end up, we're going to work our butts off there too. And we're going to go up to the next level and try to go earn it. And to me, that shows the kind of player they are, the kind of team players that they are. Right? They all thank their teammates, right, for this opportunity.
Right.
Hey, look, we got a lot of support from our coaches, from our teammates, and all those types of things. So I love the three of them. I really do. I think they're all three of them were great. Are great Aggies.
They're all underclassmen, right? All three underclassmen.
All three underclassmen.
Yeah. I mean, they're juniors, right?
All
sophomore.
Three out of the same recruiting class.
Wow.
How about that?
Imagine we had those three coming back next year.
Yeah, that'd be nice. So real quick before we go on to talk a little bit of spring practice.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. The action never ends at DraftKings Sportsbook, especially this summer. With tons of ways to bet on all your favorite sports, you can fuel your fandom and feel the heat of the season like never before. Plus, right now, DraftKings Sportsbook is giving new customers a risk-free bet up to $1,000. That's right. Make your first bet up to $1,000, and if it doesn't win, you'll get another shot to cash in. You can throw down on all the major action for baseball, golf, MMA, and more. Plus, with the same game parlay spreads, money lines, over-unders, and props, your betting options feel endless. Truly endless, Corey. Sometimes it's hard not to get lost in how many different bets you can get, and you can put them together. It's a beautiful thing. It's
love it.
Whatever you want to bet.
Yeah.
Best of all, DraftKings is safe, secure, and reliable. You can deposit and withdraw your cash whenever you want. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now. Use promo code TPPN. Make your first deposit and get a risk-free bet up to $1,000. That's promo code TPPN only at DraftKings Sportsbook. Minimum age and eligibility restrictions apply. See show notes for details. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem, crisis counseling referral service can be accessed by calling 1-800-GAMBLER. TPPN. Don't forget it. So,
baseball opens soon, doesn't it?
Astros open tomorrow night, bro.
Oh, God.
In defense of this World Series championship.
No Altuve.
A little bit sad on that. Out for about 2 months, maybe longer.
No Verlander.
So we'll have to see. No Verlander, who's in New York.
Yeah.
For the Mets. And but this team's still got a ton of talent.
Oh yeah.
Tons and tons of talent.
They're about getting brought in the big guy from the White Sox.
Yeah, I love it, man. I love the lineup. Of course, right now with it looks like Mauricio Dubon's going to get this time at second base for Altuve. We'll see. He hasn't been excellent with the bat, so we'll see how he does. They've got a utility guy that might get some of those at bats as well. So, but look, I expect big seasons from Alvarez.
You expect that every year.
Bregman.
You expected that when they sucked.
Well, I don't expect.
That's just because you're a fan.
Has Alvarez ever sucked?
No.
Ever? Since he's been in the bigs?
Well, he went in a couple slumps here and there.
So, they got talent. Framber up front at the front of the rotation. I mean,
is he starting more?
Yeah. He gets the opening day. Okay. And here's the thing. He had a better season. To me, I thought he had a better season than Verlander. Especially the second half of the season where he dominated.
Did he win the Cy Young?
No.
Wow.
But he did get, I think, 4 wins in the playoffs, which is some sort of record or something. So, there you go. On the way to a World Series title, by the way.
Yeah. Okay.
So, pretty good. Christian Javier.
Yeah, he's pretty good.
At the number 2 spot there.
Pretty good.
The bullpen was the best in baseball last year. All those guys are back.
I can't believe that bullpen's that good.
Yeah.
I just look at him like, how is this bullpen that good?
Yeah.
I mean, who's their closer?
Presley. And he's been nails, man. He's been nails.
What about the guy that was...
Every year he started, when he first came to us, he was very questionable.
Who's the pitcher that we've been waiting for a breakout? He keeps getting hurt. He's a badass.
Oh, McCullers is hurt.
Again?
Yeah.
God, every year, isn't it? I mean, we talk about it like, man, he's going to be an ace. Oh, we're going to put him as a closer. We're going to put him in the bullpen. They ought to effing time.
They ought to use him out of the bullpen because he can't stay healthy.
They should trade his ass. He can't stay healthy.
That's also true. Now, here's the other thing.
What's your main ability? Availability.
Okay, that'll end this conversation because I'm done with that.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so spring football is here, my friend.
Yep.
Actual football. 5 practices in.
Okay.
Look, last episode I went off on Jimbo, right? I hated his press conference, and the fact is, truth is, those are all just words, right?
Yeah.
Those are words. Those are words, and it doesn't really mean a lot. It upsets me the fact that he doesn't have much respect for the fan base, in my opinion. I'm past that.
Good.
Past it.
Good.
Let's get to what we've seen in practice, because this is what's important. And I said it, and I even said it last week while I was bashing him. I think this offense is going to be a lot better.
Well, they have that on me being worse.
It can't be worse.
Right.
Mostly because of the fact that I think Petrino is going to be a much better offensive coordinator than Jimbo.
Well, that didn't take much either.
That didn't take much either. So, what did we see? Well, one, Petrino is running the quarterbacks. Petrino is running the offense. That is first and foremost, okay?
Okay.
He's the guy coaching that group of players.
Yeah.
He's the guy calling the plays and doing all those things.
Where's Jimbo?
Right? Jimbo has been more of a
Sideline?
supervisor. He's
Really?
still around.
He's not whispering to
But
the quarterbacks at all?
Nope, but he's not in there
I
like
can't believe that. I got to see that.
he's going to other position drills. He's walking around, seeing different things. An encouraging thing, right?
I guess.
That's a good
I want to
thing.
see it. I got to see it myself.
That's a good thing.
Mm-hmm.
Durkin is with the linebackers, as expected.
What, the two guys?
He's taking, yeah,
He's with two linebackers. That's it?
It's as expected.
Yeah.
All right. A couple of things. So let's talk about some of the guys that are on the field. Now,
All right, go ahead.
to start the spring, defensively,
Yep.
the defensive line is sort of what we expected, right?
Oh, yeah. You called that.
Jackson, Nolan, Turner, and Diggs. That's your starting four. There's no question.
That.
I don't think there's any question there.
Yeah.
And to me, that's a
It's an NFL players.
NFL
Four of them.
type starting four, right?
Yeah.
Cooper and Russell at linebacker, which is what we expected.
Yeah.
Anderson, Gilbert, and Richardson at the safeties. Anderson taking the spot for Antonio Johnson in that nickel.
Yeah.
Okay. And then Chappelle and Grimes on the outside at the corner spots.
Yeah.
No surprises there.
Right.
Right? With the second group, depth at the defensive line. Stewart, Regis, Overton, and Rakes up front. Right?
Okay. I'm trying to think who we're missing out of that group. I thought some.
Brunlo Dindy's also now starting to get more reps with that second group.
Right.
The first day of practice, he was with that third group, which was still a very good White, Brunlo Dindy. Nolan actually was back in there, and Scylla.
Yeah.
In those looks, but you're seeing like depth.
Lots of depth.
Any one of those three groups
D-line?
on D-line, any one of those three groups.
Yeah.
I mean, you get pretty excited about all of them, right?
Yeah.
Linebacker, where the second group end up? Well, we talked about Cooper and Russell with the first group.
Harris.
York and Sanford, the two freshmen.
Wait.
Harris wasn't in that first day, but he's now come back into the mix.
Okay.
And he's getting some reps with that second group now. Him and York getting reps with that second group, okay?
Thought they might move Harris to linebacker. I mean, the DN, but go ahead.
In the secondary at safety, Kerr Matthews and Sam Matthews getting reps with that second group of corners, and then a bunch of other sort of not so important groups of safeties after that. The cornerbacks at early, you saw a lot of Javon Thomas. You saw McCall with those cornerbacks. You saw Bobby Taylor with those cornerbacks. Here, and this is where we're going to move to where
Bobby Taylor, that's the name I was expecting.
into the fifth day of practice.
Right.
Now all of a sudden the corners, Chappelle is out, hasn't been participating. It was maybe some sort of injury.
Yeah.
And McCall and Bobby Taylor haven't really been out there practicing. Kenton Robinson's getting the reps with the first group.
Who?
Right now, exactly. He was last year's spring game stud. Remember, had like a couple of interceptions in the spring game or something.
Oh God.
Yeah.
With
the
walk-on guy.
Yes, yeah.
Oh God.
So you're looking. You're apparently and look, we've talked about this before, right? Depth at cornerback.
Yeah.
It is pretty thin. It looks like because of some injuries, some guys
Yeah.
tweaks and stuff like that. There's not a ton of depth right now. Now, hopefully, there's the small things. We haven't gotten any announcement from Jimbo or the program saying what's going on with Chappelle and these other guys. So maybe it's just a tweak here and there. But either way, it sort of still gives you the thought process of, man, this could also happen in the season, right?
Oh yeah,
So
absolutely. It happened last year.
Depth at cornerback has become a little bit of a
We thought we had good depth last year, and injuries killed it. Remember, wide receiver,
Yeah.
we thought we were deep. We thought we were deep in the secondary, and some injuries. It seemed like we lost a cornerback or a safety every game.
It did. And, I still think we've got, some decent depth at safety as long as those guys, are there. To me, the corner spot, where's Harmon?
Yeah.
Right?
Where is he?
He's apparently got something tweaked, right? So he's not out there. So
You can always move Cooper to cornerback. He's probably our best coverage guy anyway. I know he's linebacker, but the guy's badass. I'm joking a little bit, but he is really that good.
and a guy like I talked about earlier, Bobby Taylor, he was hurt all last year, right? He needs to, I think he needs to be a guy that gets healthy and gets back on the field because I think athletically he's a gifted athlete.
Right.
What's going on with Javon Thomas, and is he not? Why is he not back on the field with that first group outside of Chappelle? What's he showing? What's he not showing? So I still think that's going to be the biggest concern there with depth as far as that's concerned.
Was there a Florida State transfer also?
McCall.
That's McCall?
Yeah.
Okay.
And so he's getting reps on the outside at corner as well, and
remember his name.
we'll see where he's at, but he's clearly not excelling so much that when Chappelle comes off the field, he's coming in. Right.
Yeah.
And once again, did he have some nicks and things like that? So has been missing some. So those. Anytime, my problem is that anytime you're talking about Kent Robinson being out there with the first team, that can be an issue.
That's a big issue. Scary.
Aside from that, though, linebacker.
Mm-hmm.
And look, not only just who's with first team and second team, but running drills. Let me just say this. York, who's a freshman, who's been here for 2 months.
Right.
And Harris, who's a sophomore, second-year guy, let's say probably redshirt freshman, right?
Right.
Or he probably played enough last year where he actually couldn't redshirt, right? So he's probably a sophomore. Those two guys already look more physical than Russell. Already.
Well, then I don't think that takes a whole lot. Be honest, Russell, I'm not trying to dog the guy. I think he played above his talent last year. He made some bad plays, but he did make a couple good plays here and there. He did all right.
And
to a situation he shouldn't be
blind
playing,
squirrel situation.
He shouldn't be playing as much as he does. I didn't plan on playing that much last year. I thought White would get more playing time, and White was hurt, and then Cooper. And
I liked what I saw from those two younger guys, and it would be an absolute surprise to me if one of those guys isn't taking more reps as the year goes on. But as we saw last year,
the question
that doesn't necessarily mean Russell's going to be off the field.
The question people at work are asking: has there been a 3-man front at all?
They have not shown the 3-man front early on during this period. Now, we only get to see so much of practice. So based off of what we've seen, they haven't. But that doesn't mean that they won't. And
the only time I should see a 3-man front is in a prevent defense. Late in the game, we're up by 30, and the other team's just trying to. I don't see another. Why else would you run a 3-man front? We don't have the linebackers to put in there.
I don't know that I'd run a 3-man front in that situation.
I'm just saying.
But
I'm just wondering because we saw way too much last year.
Way too much.
If you would have said, in the 3-man fronts, we got Nolan, McKinley. And I'm like.
Look, I'll tell you this. And this is, strictly defense here, right?
Yeah.
I was pleasantly surprised with the second group of linebackers. I think that's a positive thing because what we talk about.
Harris with that? Or you just counting York?
Harris, York, Sanford, right? Those guys. I thought they already show as young guys have shown some more physicality than what Russell, who's like a 7th-year guy here, right, or whatever, 6th year,
right?
Like more physicality than him. To me, those guys are going to be better players than him, and that probably needs to happen this year. This year, okay? Now, we know from the past that that's not necessarily what this coaching staff has done because they keep putting Russell out there. They keep putting him out there. Last year, they put him out there in front of White. They put him out there in front of Lee. Now, Lee is kind of in his same boat. I don't think he was very good.
No.
But
Lee and Russell, we didn't think they would see the field as much as they did last year. We thought Harris was going to see the field more. Remember, you were talking about Harris last year because he was athletic.
Yeah.
And I think you might have compared him to like a young Vaughn or somebody coming off the edge, like speed-wise.
I liked what he did coming off the edge and when they used him in those situations. But and here you're seeing him in a traditional linebacker role a little bit more right now. And to me, he has good reaction and he's got more physicality. And so at the linebacker position, that's an important piece, right? I mean, that's got to be something that you take into consideration, especially the reaction time, right? Like Russell's fifth-year guy. He shouldn't be the slowest reacting linebacker on the field.
He was awful last
right?
year. He consistently went to the wrong gap whenever on running plays. I mean, consistently. I mean, all you had to do is run the ball right at Russell last year.
You know, here's the other thing, and I saw it in the from the get-go. You know, we always talked to our linebackers about it's got to be a marriage, right? It's got to be a marriage. Well, even in, just in drills at the beginning of, and they've got these linebackers splitting, and I don't get that. It's what causes the gaps that we normally have that give up the big plays in the running game. It's the reason we are not good at playing the run last year. Because our linebackers are not in unison. And apparently it's not an issue with their read. Apparently it's that what they're getting coached to do.
Yeah.
That, to me, is troubling. Aside from that defensively, though, let me tell you this. That front looks phenomenal. They look exceptionally good. Brunlo Dindy is a big old boy. Now, you see the difference between him and a guy like Nolan who got a ton of experience last year. Because in the drills, Nolan knows exactly where he needs to be, his positioning. If he knows he's got to close a gap, whatever, right? With Brunel, he's still figuring those things out.
Right.
And he's more just learning where to be, not exactly how to handle it, right? And so he's got to take another step. Physically, he looks good, big.
Right. Nolan
looks trim, my friend.
Dude, I was telling you last time, I expect these guys from freshman to sophomore to get better shape. That's what I'm expecting. This freshman to sophomore year.
I think Nolan is under 300.
Well, he might be trying to go outside more.
McKinley obviously looks great. That dude's just a monster. He's going to be our best player. So up front, a guy that I think has a chance to be a playmaker on the edge is Malik Silla.
You were saying that before.
And I'll tell you what, watching practice, comparing him and Stewart.
Yeah.
Stewart, who got a ton of playing time last year.
Right.
He's the more explosive end. No question.
Right now, you think?
Right now. No question. He's more explosive than Overton. No question.
Diggs. More explosive than Diggs?
I think he may be.
I think Diggs is our best outside rusher. I mean,
he was last year. He definitely was. And look, I don't know. I didn't see those two guys side by side.
Yeah.
But if I'm in a passing down, that dude's on the field for me. That's what I'm telling you. Because he comes off the ball better than any other the other guys.
So who's your four down on passing downs? Who you got in defensive tackles? You got Nolan and McKinley in there?
I still think it's those two guys.
I think you got to. McKinley's motor just doesn't stop.
Yeah, he just doesn't stop.
He's going the whole time.
And if you want to bring somebody else in, you bring Turner inside, right?
Yeah, Turner inside. Then you got who on the outside? Silla.
Diggs and Silla. That's who I'm going.
Diggs and Silla? Okay.
Diggs and Silla.
Okay. You're not even putting Stewart on the field on third down?
No. And he, to me, though.
That's your best four right there is what you're saying. That's what I'm asking.
On rushing downs.
And who's your linebackers? You got Cooper and
Harris.
On passing downs, Harris?
Oh, yeah. And I might bring Harris.
Okay.
I'm going to let Cooper cover, and I'm going to bring Harris.
So 3rd and 10, you got Cooper and Harris. Cooper's covering, Harris is coming, so you're bringing 5. Okay, I like it.
We're going to roll.
I like it.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I like it.
So there is a lot of things to get excited about here so far, right? I mean, you're seeing some of the development with some of these young guys, you know, and that's not to say Stewart's looked bad.
Right.
I'm just comparing him explosive-wise, coming off the ball as a pass rusher. Silla's quicker.
Gotcha. He's
quicker. He's faster, right? Now he's smaller too, by the way.
Well.
Overton, another guy that
he's the guy you were high on before. You liked Overton a lot.
Yeah, that I think is also a good piece to have in that mix.
Right.
And he looks like he's progressing. He should only now be a freshman here, right?
Mm-hmm.
You
want to
he reclassified.
You want to redshirt?
Hey, maybe. Let's redshirt.
Okay. Go ahead. We need to keep
but it's exciting.
We need to keep some of these guys for a few years, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
exactly.
You know?
Exactly. Well, the way they recruit these days, I don't know. They
need like the Georgia thing where they're going, you know, all 4 defensive linemen go to the NFL, and next year the next 4 go all in the
next
NFL.
4 go.
Just keep going.
You know, except Georgia has all 4 defensive linemen, both linebackers, and then 3 out of their 4 secondary guys. So.
Well, a couple of them go to jail for a little while. And, sorry.
Yeah,
maybe that's
you got to let loose. Though.
Yeah, you got to do that. You got to get on the highway, go a little fast.
All right, so offensively.
Yeah.
First thing is that at the beginning of camp, let's talk, you know, as far as the depth chart, you saw Fothery, Robinson, Strickland, Moko, and Crownover up front.
Strickland,
okay.
That's because
now, mind you, Zune is out.
Yeah.
For the spring, and so are both of the centers.
Right.
So there's that. Moko and Dewberry have been
left guards,
playing that left guard spot and alternating with the first group, by the way.
And Aki.
And then Aki's been behind both of those.
3rd, 14.
Yeah.
Good.
3rd group. So
transfer.
Pretty good. With the first group, Connor started off the spring there.
Mm-hmm.
Interestingly enough, at wide receiver, Stewart, Moose, Thomas.
Yeah.
Which goes back to what we said that they kind of like to do. They want that bigger body.
Yeah.
Anais sort of rotating in and out. Interesting.
Yeah, interesting. I don't understand that.
Anais is probably your best guy, so you probably need them on.
Did Anais take any reps in the backfield, have you heard?
They've handed him the ball, but more on motion, sweep type stuff and stuff like that. Okay. In the backfield, Daniels has been the starter.
Like it.
All right. Daniels has been the starter. And then at tight end, Green's the number 1 guy.
Oh, yeah.
You know, and then sort of everybody else after that. We'll talk about sort of what happens in that tight end group. Stewart is now out. He's out he's been in a walking boot.
Yeah.
So he's probably going to be out for a bit, which has now brought Anais back in with the first team reps and all that stuff. But, you know, obviously he's a guy that they're going to depend on a lot. It hurts that he's not there. He's getting the reps with Petrino and those types of things. But, you know, obviously the fall is going to be more important for him. Get him healthy. Get him going.
That's 4. I'm trying to think of who our second team wide receivers are right now.
Well, it's
Preston on there?
It's Preston. It is.
I'm just saying, you talking about Russell 7 years. That's Preston.
Yeah,
he's got his doctorate and
he's
working on a second doctorate. Go ahead.
And on top of that, the freshmen as well. The 2 freshman wide receivers are out there.
Okay.
So
is that the guy from Georgia? The flip from Georgia?
Mm-hmm. So those guys are getting some reps with that group with Preston as well. You know, and the receiver group looks good, man. They look explosive. They're out there. They're making catches. The ball, you know.
Because the UTEP kid went back to UTEP.
UTEP, he gone.
That's crazy.
I guess a couple of things that I found interesting there is they are doing a lot of rotating on the offensive line.
Right.
So they're letting some guys get in and get their reps with Strickland and Nobu both at center, getting both those guys in there. Like we talked about at the left guard spot. Yeah. The consistent guys, obviously, Layden Robinson and Fothery. On the right side, they're sort of the pillars there.
Yeah, we know.
We know that's going to happen. And so, and then, you know, the other guys have sort of been rotating in. I see that as a good sign in the sense that they're trying to figure out what the mix is now early on.
Mm-hmm.
Look, when Zune gets back, you expect he's going to be your left tackle, but you know what? Crownover looks pretty damn good.
Right.
Crownover looks pretty damn good.
So what are we running? Are we running 3 wide receivers or 2 tight ends?
We're doing both. So sometimes they are doing a lot of 2 tight end sets. Usually Green and the Swede Olin getting in there.
Really?
In front of Johnson. Johnson and Garcia with that second group, because Wright's out.
Yeah.
And so I'll tell you this, and watching the drills and different things, right? Not just what group they're coming out in. Look, Green is clearly the best of them all. He's just so fluid in the way he runs routes. He's absolutely, incredible catching the ball.
Mm-hmm.
Very reliable, always in the right place. Those
He's
types
a big
of things.
guy too.
Big dude.
Yeah.
Johnson looks stiff at times. It's not fluid routes, right? It's not, he doesn't look, you go watch Travis Kelce, man.
Yeah.
Everything's just like,
right.
It's very open motion, and it's a beautiful thing. Yeah. Look, Johnson does not have that. He is stiff at times, slightly stiff, right?
I'll have to go work on him a little bit.
And so, he needs to continue to develop and gain some of that fluidity, to get rid of some of that stiffness, continue to work on those things, flexibility with the body and stuff. Now, don't get me wrong, dude's a big dude. And he still catches the ball well.
Yeah, but he's going to be able to get away from people to get the ball.
And so those are going to be the things.
Yeah.
Who knows what happens with his brother?
That's disappointing because, I was expecting a lot from that guy.
Yeah, and still may.
I mean, it's like the other tight end that we had for a couple of years. We kept expecting stuff. The one that transferred to Tech, I can't remember his name now.
Oh yeah.
And we were like, "Oh man, he's huge. He looks athletic."
Baylor
Cup.
Yeah,
is that what it was? Yeah. Baylor Cup, and we kept it. Oh man, he kept getting hurt, and like this guy's not going to do anything.
Yeah,
and that's what I'm worried about. I mean, I want to hope the best, but
look like Tarzan, play like Jack.
Exactly. Yes, exactly.
Running back wise, let me tell you something. One guy that's already impressed me.
Owens.
Daniels.
Wow.
He's running with the first group, and there's a reason why. That dude already looks different physically. He's bigger, he's stronger, he's thicker. And he still has that explosive character that he had last year, right? I mean, to me, he looks really good. And not to say that Moss and Owens don't, by the way.
Yeah, how does Owens look? I haven't seen that guy at all.
Dude is fluid, man.
Is he really?
Oh. He is crisp, dude. I mean, you watch him run.
Anybody like former Aggies, anything like a?
I don't know about former Aggies. He's so smooth, man. Think about just
smooth.
Yeah, it's like he's going, and you don't really, and like his cuts are smooth. His great vision. He's gonna be good.
Like it.
He's going to be really
good. Is he short or tall? I don't even know what he looks like.
He's good size. I think he's right at 6 foot.
Okay.
And so, maybe 5'11". But, he's going to get touches this year.
Because I'll tell you, I don't mind a smaller running back after watching what those guys at Kansas State do and Austin Eckler and those kind of running backs to get hid behind the line. They had those quick little moves. I mean, I wouldn't mind something like that. But, yeah.
I'm telling you, he's going to get reps this year. He's going to make plays this year right off the bat.
Is there a change of pace back, or are they all pretty much the same?
Is there a Moss is a little bit bigger.
Moss
is a little bit, bit bigger guy. He's like more of that kind of
goal line. You expect seeing Moss on goal line?
I don't know. I mean, Daniels also looks good, man. He's got, like I said, he's gotten bigger. So you never know what they're going to do there, but maybe so. Moss is more of a goal line guy.
You remember Jimbo used to put A-Chain in there when we had what's his name on goal line situations?
Here's the other thing.
What?
We also have the fullback.
Oh, Crownover?
Yeah. And he looks good. And so he might be a goal line option also. He's a lot bigger than some of those other guys.
It's true. We got all those big defensive tackles that surprised he wouldn't put one of them in the block. But
I'll tell you what, that's not a bad idea.
Yeah.
That's not a bad idea.
We did that with Bobby Brown. Remember Bobby Brown would come in on...
Throw Nolan out there as your lead blocker.
There you go.
I could take that. Or McKinley.
Yeah, people are going to get the hell out of their way. Don't hit me. Blow the whistle.
Blow the whistle.
Yeah.
So, I'm my expectations for the running back group is moving up.
Like it.
It's moving up. Now, look, we know what we've got at wide receiver. I think everybody understands the talent that Moose is, the talent that Anais is, the talent that Stewart is. Thomas on the outside, we still need to see more, but we feel good about it. We've got Preston in the mix. We know the dude can make plays even though he can't get on the field for some reason.
I don't get it.
Micah Tease has looked good as a freshman coming in. He's athletic. He's done some things. The kid out of Georgia, and I'm blanking on his name right now.
No, I got you. I know.
Also looks the part. He's not going to get too many opportunities here this first year.
He's a bigger kid, though, isn't he? Yeah.
But my point is, we know that we've got talent out there.
He's more of a Thomas type, right? The big kid out of Georgia. You think him and Thomas?
Not quite as tall. But he's probably playing that same position, right? Now, we know what we get in Green at tight end. We know what we're getting. Look, Connor has got to put it all together, right? And let me tell you this. So, he's looked good. He's looked good. And he doesn't look stressed out there. He looks comfortable. He's looking like he's picking things up. He's doing pretty good. He's got to put it all together. But what we say earlier this year is going to be the key to this offense.
The offensive line?
The offensive line, 100%. And let me tell you something.
Well, how do you do that with two centers out? Both your centers are out.
Well, it doesn't matter. Because
you need reps, though, don't you?
Yeah, you do. And they'll be back for the fall,
reps,
right?
I'm talking.
But here's my problem is I'm watching drills. And I'm watching drills and I'm watching closely drills. Those guys, it just upsets me. Same thing they do last year.
Oh, shit.
Feet come in tight. The moment they engage in a block, the feet are in tight, which is always a bad situation.
How do you have balance like that?
Yeah, you don't have any balance.
Yeah.
You will get beat by a defensive lineman when your feet are in tight. You're going to fall off that block every time.
Yeah, they have the advantage right away.
But it's getting coached to them because at the end of the day, they're all doing it.
And Dazio's coaching that?
It has to be. They're all doing it.
He came in with a rep as a
O-line
coach.
Yeah. And so that bothers me some, right?
Doesn't make any sense.
It doesn't make any sense. You know what's crazy too?
No.
The freshman, DeSantis, is one of the guys. He is one of the guys that actually shows better, wider bases and state
technique, right?
Maybe because he hadn't been here that long.
Yeah.
Maybe they'll coach that out of him.
Yeah. Dewberry's doing the same thing.
Dewberry as well. They're all doing it. They're all, and Dewberry's better actually, and that's part of the reason we got better last year, right?
Right.
But that's my problem. You watch you watch Layden Robinson, man. That dude's feet come in tight every time he engages in a block.
So the feet are inside the hips, not like
exactly. And so now you're engaging, and so they run the outside zone, and the first thing they do is take that wide step to run, and then they cross over. And they're trying to engage with their feet in here.
They're tripping over themselves.
And they're not. And sometimes it's just getting away kind of situation with some of those outside. I hate it, man.
You seen anything from Petrino's offense yet? Anything you can say about it? Anything you like, don't like? Anything you notice? Does it look just like Jimbo's? What?
You can look. Just even in practice at the beginning of this, you can see that there's a little bit more rhythm to it,
like a rhythm.
They are also
using the whole play clock. Is what you're saying. We're going to get up there, snap the ball, and go.
I mean, I don't know if it's going to be like
not a hurry up, but I'm saying
it's not going to be Tennessee fast, right? But it'll be.
We won't be calling timeouts, right? Using 3 timeouts.
The other thing is
first quarter
that they are pushing the ball down the field some more,
like vertically, like 20, 30 yards.
Yeah. Well, it's more vertical stuff. So those are all positive things.
Yeah.
I'll tell you, there's a ton of positives out there. There's a ton of positives. I think offensively, there's a ton of positives. We talked about the ones on defense. My concern offensively is still the offensive line. Not because of the personnel. I think they look good personnel-wise. I think that's right now, the technical aspect of how they're playing offensive line right now could be problematic.
Gotcha.
We're going to have to see where that offensive line develops.
I hear you.
And we'll get a lot of hey, look, if they can handle our defensive front in spring football, you're going to feel real good about it. That's all I can tell you.
Shit, we said that last year.
Well, they didn't handle them in spring football, did they?
Well, I don't think too many teams are going to handle this offensive line.
All right. Questions from the tailgate brought to you by David Coffin, PLLC, tax controversy and litigation lawyer, smart solutions to federal tax issues, experience, respected representation for taxpayers. Over 20 years of experience in tax controversy with offices located in Southlake, Texas, and now opening Bryan College Station. Call 817-251-7049 and make an appointment. Free consultation up front. All right?
Mm-hmm.
Question number 1.
Yeah.
Report on the quarterback battle. So we didn't spend a lot of time talking about the quarterback battle.
Quarterback battle.
Quarterback battle. According to Jimbo, there's a quarterback battle.
There's not a quarterback battle.
There you go.
There's not a quarterback battle.
So let's clear this up.
That's the dumbest thing.
There is no quarterback battle.
If there's a quarterback battle, then we have real issues. Because our future is with Connor. We agree on that, right?
Oh, yes.
No, I mean, if he gets hurt, then yeah, we have a more than capable backup. That's great.
It's great to have a backup.
But Johnson's
Is
not. Yeah, exactly. I mean, he'll lead us to some wins and some good victories, but he's not going to lead us to where we want to go.
Johnson is the backup. I don't know how much clearer I can say that.
Johnson's the backup. Connor's 1.
Is number 1.
Yeah.
Johnson is number 2.
Yeah.
Flat out done. There is no competition.
Why does he say that? Is it just trying to keep Johnson
I guess
in the program?
I have no
Which,
idea.
I mean, I don't want him to leave. Don't get me wrong.
I don't want him to leave. But he's going to leave anyway. Right? He's going to know, by the way.
Yeah.
And don't get me wrong. Johnson has gotten some reps with the ones.
But if you leave this late,
but
are you going to go to another program that you're going to get to be able to be a starter? What program is looking for a starting quarterback like Johnson if you leave at this point in the year? Because they're doing spring practice right now too,
if
right?
he graduates this semester, he probably has 2 years of eligibility left.
I don't think he leaves.
Having said that, I hope he doesn't leave.
Unless he goes to somewhere like Sam or something like that. Yeah, that'd be the only. He's too good to go there, I think.
Western Kentucky, you know.
Out.
Hey, look. Either way, the point is that there is no competition, and he has been getting Johnson some reps with the first team rep, less than Connor, right?
Yeah.
But at the same time, that's just making sure that he gets a little time with those first group wide receiver type things. Connor is the starter and will be the starter unless he's hurt.
Right.
No competition. Yeah. By the way, how has he looked? He's looked pretty darn good. He looks comfortable with Petrino. He's throwing the ball well. Man, he's been sharp. Really sharp, delivering the ball, receivers on the run. Now, mind you, it's mostly against air for a lot of what we're seeing, right?
Right.
But that's what, that's the things you like to see is that it's on point.
And like we've said, the talent has never been a question. It's been the play calling. Mm-hmm. And our defense is knowing what we're going to call. That's what we had an issue with last year. Oh, well, it's passing.
I think you're going to see that he's got a much clearer mind out there this season because of a simplified system with Bobby and clear decision making.
They just have to execute, Alejo. Just execute.
That's it.
God.
All they got to do is execute. Western America. Question number 2.
Do it.
So ESPN had an article come out.
Yep.
3 teams that can break into the playoffs for the first time.
Right.
They list Tennessee, Penn State, USC. What do you think?
I disagree with all. Well, USC I think would have the best shot because of their conference, but they don't have a defense. I mean, look at last year. They lived on luck.
They could make the Final Four just because their conference is not
exactly. The conference is weak, and they'll win the conference. They should win the conference,
and they still lost twice to Utah last year.
There you go. And then, but Penn State's got to beat Ohio State and Michigan. Tennessee's got to beat Georgia, Alabama, A&M, LSU.
Could Tennessee have made it? Could Tennessee have made it last year if they didn't lose Hendon Hooker?
Yeah.
Even after Georgia goes in.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Because they beat Alabama.
Yeah.
And they had the tiebreaker. They beat LSU.
They beat LSU, but they fell to.
They would have had a tiebreaker on
South
LSU.
Carolina, which is what killed them.
That's what I'm saying. But Hooker wasn't there, was he?
Right.
Yeah, absolutely. I think they.
So and look,
they lost their quarterback. Their 2 top wide receivers.
Right.
Their defense is still a work in progress. New offensive coordinator, I believe. Which I mean, as long as they had the head coach, I think they're good.
Yeah,
I think he brings the right mindset to the team.
I'll say this. I mean, could USC break in? I think they could in that conference. I don't have confidence in the fact that defense is going to keep them from losing a couple of games.
Oklahoma teams that made it, they got their ass kicked when they made it to the Final Four because it was the same thing. It was all offense, no defense, and
their offense is going to be good enough to compete at that level, and it'll probably cost them a game, maybe two throughout the season. Right?
Yeah. And Penn State.
Look, number one, I think Michigan's a better team, probably.
Oh, Michigan, I think, is one of the top teams, and they got their quarterback.
They got a lot coming back.
Yeah, they got some talent.
Look, Penn State, they're big on the running backs, the two running backs that were freshmen last year.
They got a quarterback and sophomore that kept coming in. Yeah, they got some.
But the quarterback hadn't played though, right?
And I think that coach Penn State's overrated. By the way, that's me. That's my thought process. Franklin. They keep talking, he's a great coach. Everybody wants him. I don't know
if they're going to make it, this would be the year because Ohio State potentially down with replacing as much. But they've got those receivers left. Ohio State's they still got all those receivers.
They're the Georgia of the Big Ten.
Right.
You know, they got a lot of talent. Yeah. They're getting 5 stars left and right.
And they replace quarterbacks every 2 years, and they just keep rolling.
They're going to be fine. The last guy, he transferred out of Ohio State. He won the Heisman.
And Tennessee, I think it all comes down to their quarterback.
Yeah. No, I don't believe
he looked great in the bowl game against Clemson.
Those 3 teams, the one I think would make the playoffs out of those 3 be USC. That'd be my choice just because they're out there in the Pac-12 or Pac whatever you call it.
I'm excited to see what Clemson comes back with the new offensive coordinator in Riley.
Yeah.
Right?
All right.
So, they've always got talent. The system has not been good over the last few years. He's fired he won the coordinator.
Best team in the ACC, Florida State. That's I'm surprised they weren't on that article because
why aren't they in that article?
They should be.
No faith in Florida State at all.
They got a good team. Quarterback.
How about the Aggies? Why aren't the Aggies in that article? Oh, we were 5-7 last year.
Oh yeah. Okay. I'm surprised. I'm telling you, when they rank us, we do crappy. Look at the football, baseball, basketball. Anytime they preseason hype,
better off.
We can't take it. It goes to our heads.
The one thing I was shocked about is that they also came out with an article about the top 25 quarterback rooms in college football over the next 3 years. And the Aggies weren't in the top 25 at all.
I don't understand that. How's that?
In spite of the fact that they got a 5-star now, it's 5-star sophomore right now. Yeah. They've got a 4-star that they just recruited this year.
They're looking up.
So, no.
I don't get it. But I'll tell you what, I'm going to help the Aggies out here right now.
All right.
We're going to suck next year. We're probably one of the worst teams in college football next year.
You're going to bet the under, huh?
Oh, the under. They're definitely under. I'll be happy if we win 3 games next year.
Amen.
I'll just be happy. I think that's the mindset. We go in here,
You've been
hope for the best, and, hope for the best, plan for the worst.
Hey, look, we're going to bet every game for the Aggies to lose every game next year.
Every game.
Guaranteed they win.
I don't know about that, but...
Yeah.
It proves our odds. Yeah. I just want to get people's mindset to where they're not, we're going to go 12-0.
Bring the expectations down.
Let's get realistic. I know we're in Aggie land. We have a lot of talent. We went 5-7 last year.
Let those guys go out and just be hungry.
Teams don't go 5-7 and go 12-0 in the SEC. I mean
TCU did last year, but whatever.
That's not in the SEC.
Okay.
I said SEC.
You did.
Big 12, it happens every day.
How about LSU?
They didn't go 12-0.
No, but they should. They were 1 game away from going to the championship game.
All right.
Hey, look, I agree with you.
Yeah, I'm going to suck. Is that what you're saying?
No, that's not what I'm saying.
All right, just making sure we're on the same
Still a lot to see over spring, by the way.
I got blue shirt, though. Yeah.
Gig 'em Aggies. AP.
Holler.
From the tailgate.
All right.